What if I told you that the single most powerful force shaping your beliefs, your emotions, and even your sense of reality right now is not a government, not a religion, not even your own family. It is an algorithm. And it has been running on you, silently, for over a decade. Let that sink in for a second. The recommendation engines built by Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram were not designed to inform you. They were designed to maximize one thing and one thing only: engagement. And the content that drives the most engagement, according to internal research leaked from Facebook in 2021, is content that triggers outrage, fear, and moral indignation. Not joy. Not curiosity. Not calm. Rage. Because rage keeps you scrolling. And every extra second you scroll is another fraction of a cent in advertising revenue. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is documented corporate strategy. In 2018, a former Facebook data scientist named Frances Haugen discovered internal presentations showing that the company's own researchers had found their algorithms were actively amplifying divisive and extreme content. They knew. They had the data. And they kept the system running anyway. Now here is where it gets deeply personal. A landmark study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences in 2017 analyzed over 10 million Facebook users and found that prolonged exposure to algorithmically curated content significantly narrowed the diversity of information people consumed. After just 6 months, users were 70% more likely to engage exclusively with content that confirmed their existing beliefs. 70%. Researchers at MIT studying information spread found in 2018 that false news stories spread 6 times faster than true ones on Twitter. 6 times. And the algorithm did not care which was which. It only cared which one made you feel something stronger. Think about what this means at scale. By 2023, there were approximately 4.9 billion social media users worldwide. Each one of those people is receiving a uniquely personalized reality tunnel. You and your neighbor can be watching the same platform and consuming completely different versions of the world. Not different opinions. Different facts. Different events. Different realities. Eli Pariser, a tech researcher, called this the filter bubble back in 2011, and almost nobody listened. Now, 12 years later, we are living inside the consequences. The American Psychological Association released data in 2022 showing that 72% of Americans reported social media as a significant source of stress in their lives. Yet 68% reported feeling unable to disconnect. That is not a preference. That is a behavioral dependency loop, structurally identical to the mechanics of slot machine addiction, which B.F. Skinner described in his variable ratio reinforcement research back in the 1950s. The platforms have essentially taken 70-year-old gambling psychology and wrapped it in a glowing screen. And children are the most vulnerable targets. A study from the University of Oxford in 2023 found that adolescents who spent more than 3 hours daily on social media had double the risk of developing anxiety and depression compared to those who spent under 1 hour. The World Health Organization flagged this as a public health concern requiring urgent policy action. So what does this mean for society going forward? Researchers at the Computational Story Lab at the University of Vermont analyzed emotional trends in over 100 billion words across decades of media and found that the overall emotional tone of public communication has been declining sharply since approximately 2007. The exact year the iPhone launched. The exact year social feeds began to dominate daily life. Coincidence? The data says no. Here's what you can actually do right now. First, audit your feed deliberately. Unfollow or mute accounts that consistently make you feel anxious, angry, or inferior. Replace them with accounts that teach you something new. Second, use the 20-minute rule. Set a hard timer before opening any social app. When it rings, you stop. This alone can reduce passive scrolling by up to 40% according to behavioral studies from Duke University. Third, Seek out information sources that expose you to opposing viewpoints in a structured way. Allsides.com rates news sources across the political spectrum and has been peer-validated for bias detection accuracy. Fourth, talk to real people about real events more than you consume digital versions of them. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational judgment, is significantly more active during face-to-face conversation than during screen consumption. The algorithm is not going away. In fact, it is getting smarter. But so can you. Awareness is the first firewall. If you found this eye-opening, subscribe because this channel breaks down exactly how the systems shaping your world actually work and what to do about it.